I'm going to say the Eagles. I'm going to start with a little bit of stats, a few facts, obviously. I'm going to start with Jalen Hurts. 337 total yards over his first 2 starts. Kyler Murray, and Mahomes are the only with more since week 14. Jalen Hurts has been balling. Let's also talk about the recent history. Cowboys played the Eagles, what was it, about 6-7 weeks ago. Cowboys lost to the Eagles, and the Eagles played about as bad as they could play. Obviously, the Cowboys, I believe, were playing Benucci at that time, but let's say it like this.
The Nucci man?
The Nucci man. Gucci the Nucci. But remember, the Eagles have increased their play at quarterback just like the Cowboys have in a game in which the Eagles, who previously played, had already beat them. The other thing I will say is Eagles got the better running back right now. Eagles got the better quarterback right now. Eagles got the better defense right now. Eagles got the better head coach. Are you really going to base the Cowboys win off them having the better receiving core when you know and you said receivers have the least impact or influence on a game in the game of football? I can't go as far as to say because the Cowboys got the better receivers, they're going to be the better team when the Eagles are literally better at just about every meaningful position right now.
Let's go emotional then, since you want to have emotional takes and just exclude all of the facts in this situation. I love Jalen Hurts. So far, so great. I love the Cowboys because we have tried to destroy this team, and they are roaches. They won't go away. What? The Cowboys are still in position to be in the playoffs. What? I've never heard by just conversation, by media assessment, a team lowlier than the Cowboys, it seems, that still is alive. So let's talk about why they're alive. You want to talk about the quarterback play, incrementally better, but I give the nod to the Philadelphia Eagles. But why will the Cowboys get it done this weekend? Simply because the hot boys are heating up. Look at this defense right here. We know about the hot boys, but look at them now. You talk about the Eagles have the better defense right now? Are you sure? Look at those numbers right there, Acho. 20 points a game the last couple of weeks. I'm looking at the Eagles when you guys played, was that the Arizona Cardinals? Is that 33 points you gave up? Oh, what about the Green Bay Packers? 30 points? That's not what's happening in Dallas right now. Oh, you're reading the old newspapers. I understand, Acho. Let's update your take right now. This is simply about a team that's going to play greater than the sum of its parts, led by its new defensive leader, a guy you owe an apology to, DeMarcus Lawrence.
That's real.
Who is balling of late.
He's been balling.
And he needs his credit. He needs his flowers. But all that said, I think the Cowboys are forming the fist necessary to go forward.
Let me use a Marcellus Wiley take. Past success is an indicator of future success.
Great.
I finally got it. That means that past failures are an indicator of future failures.
Chill.
Now, let's talk about Week 16 last year. Cowboys-Eagles, again, a must-win game. The Dallas Cowboys had the significantly more talented team. The Eagles were maligned at just about every position outside of quarterback. Zach Ertz had a punctured lung or bruised kidney. Running backs were out. Deshaun Jackson was out. Alshon Jeffrey was out. What happened in that game when the Cowboys still had Dak Prescott, probably had a better coach, had a Zeke that wasn't completely declined? I don't know. I saw what happened in that game and the Eagles won, but I'm going to hit you with the nuanced take because, again, oftentimes you go for low-hanging fruit. I can tell you've been eating fruit lately, though, because you look good. So
boy!
At least you're going for fruit and not low-hanging dessert. But oftentimes you go for low-hanging fruit. And I'm going to say this, Sal. Who's the Cowboys' offensive coordinator? You remember? Right now.
Kellen Moore.
Kellen Moore. What is a current college coaching vacancy? Boise State. Where did Kellen Moore...
Should be University of Texas, sorry.
Where did Kellen Moore play in college? Boise State. So, there's a vacancy at Boise, and Kellen Moore, the offensive coordinator, played at Boise, one of the winningest coaches in college football. You gonna tell me he's not distracted? The same distraction that Jason Garrett was dealing with last year when his job was on the line. Coaching distractions for the Cowboys don't bode well for big-time matchups. All I'm gonna say, you go for low-hanging fruit, I go for high-hanging.
So in that distraction that you're trying to place on Kellen Moore, you think he's not going to the fullest of detail in the lesson plan, game plan for this week? Is that where we're going?
I'm just saying.
Are we suggesting that?
I'm just saying that somebody who is divided, a person who's divided cannot stand. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, okay. All I'm going to say is this. I would like to wager something. Since you didn't give me a gift, and I actually got you a gift, you know, don't you hear this from your family? What do we get you? You got everything you want. I want a gift. That's what I want, David. I will wager you.
Honestly, I want a Rolex.
Coming up, I give a damn about the Eagles and Cowboys like that. Coming up, Tony Dungy took a little shot at Tom Brady. What the hell? I thought you were going to say dinner.
After he was photographed at an event with strippers. while not wearing a mask. Now, Haskins apologized to the team, saying, quote, "I will learn from this mistake." He's only 1-4 as a team starter this season. Greg Jennings is back with us. We needed another voice for this one. But Marcellus, before I get your reaction to this one,
yes, sir.
I actually have a question for you, sir. Now, again, I've told you this. I ain't never been to a strip club, and we've heard conflicting reports that he was at a strip club or he was at an event with strippers. Do strippers at an event make it a strip club, or is it the building, the club itself, that makes it a strip club? I was thinking about this preparing for the show, and I'm like, wait a second. Do the strippers make it a strip club, or does the club make it a strip club? Marcellus Wiley, the floor is yours, sir.
You got a wire on you. You know I'm married. I can't be up here breaking it. You know, single dude up here. You tell me. Wink, 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 wink. Hey, if a stripper's in the building, it's a strip club to me. Nah, I'm just kidding. No, I caught the same thing when reading this James Harden story as well. I'm like, what are y'all doing to differentiate a strip club from just a place where strippers are? And I'm going to push back on that. And that's all I'm going to say and stay married. That's all I'm going to do.
Let's get to the point then.
Okay, good.
What's your reaction to this whole Dwayne Haskins situation, big bro?
Did you say strippers? No, just let me stop. All right, look, Dwayne Haskins is done in Washington, but not done in the NFL. Okay. Once again, I was early to this one, and it probably just went by everybody. I had some intel tell me about Dwayne Haskins and what was going on in his personal life and dealings. And last year, we had to respond to when Dwayne Haskins, y'all remember, was up there taking selfies instead of finishing out a ball game in victory. So as we see Dwayne Haskins, I'm like, I'm a former player, and I have connections, as we all do. I had to reach out to the homies and say, what is going on here? Like, in your first opportunity of success as a top pick, you're supposed to be there basking in glory with the boys, with the team, on the field. Take a knee. It feels good. But Case Keenum had to do that because Dwayne Haskins was caught up in the fame. You know, my coach used to always say, don't come to practice on a red carpet, which basically meant don't get Hollywood on me, big dog. I need you to always come here and put in that work. So I had to find out about Dwayne Haskins. And the thing that was interesting is he's back home. He's where he's from. And that is a tricky situation. I don't want to go terrible because I almost did it playing in San Diego from L.A., but it is a hard one to deal with. And then we had on April 10th of 2020, the Urban Meyer on SFY, our show, talking about Dwayne Haskins. Listen to this.
What concerns about Dwayne wasn't so much maturity as the fact of lack of experience. He had the best quarterback year in the history of Ohio State, one of the best years in college football history for a quarterback. However, it was 1 year. And to think he's ready to go lead a franchise immediately, you know, the NFL is such a different game, such a fast game. It's everybody's all-star.
You don't get it. Hey, man, Urban Meyer says it, I mean, almost in prediction, and then it comes to this point of realization. You don't get a second chance to make a first impression. And Dwayne Haskins in Washington, that impression is in stone. He has to move on.
Yeah, my reaction is very simple. He's a kid in a grown man's body. Like, oftentimes we be on the couch watching athletes. We assume all these athletes are grown, mature, leading lives as necessarily upstanding citizens. Nah, like, some of them just kids. They just good at sports. Dwayne Haskins, as far as his maturation thus far, that's what it is. Marcellus, when you showed me that picture of Dwayne Haskins taking a picture with a fan after a game, or there was a report earlier this season, he was, like, celebrating or smiling in the locker room after a loss. I'm like, yo, I've only experienced that one time. In 2010, played the national championship. Texas, we go play Alabama. We take an L. Lost like 37-24. We in the locker room devastated. But one dude who was a backup, he got to play in that game, so he's all smiling. He out there, hey, man, but I had a couple great blocks. Bro, we lost. Some people just don't get in a team sport, it's about the team. When I think about it, I'm just like, Dwayne Haskins hasn't figured it out yet. But Urban Meyer hit the nail on the head. Think about Dwayne Haskins. Statistically, a crazy season. 50 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. That's why he was drafted in the first round, top 15 overall pick. But realistically, like, he's never had to lead men over the duration of time. He's never really had to lead men through the ups and the downs of the NFL. He's never really had to deal with managing success, with managing failure. So when I think of Dwayne Haskins, that's all it is. He a kid in a grown man's body thus far.
Yeah, and Urban Meyer, he said it the nice way when he didn't want to talk about saying he doesn't have the maturity. He said...